The heart of the monomythic journey is the initiation stage. This is where you'll find the bulk of your story. This is what takes our hero from their initial sign of heroism in the belly of the whale through a series of trials and tribulations all the way on through to the moment where they receive glory, or they're able to complete the goal from which they set out to complete in the beginning, or which is in most cases the call to adventure, but not always. During this stage, you will see the test, or the road of trials, which is continual throughout the entire initiation stage. It's usually a series of events. And then you will see specific events along that road of trials: the meeting of the goddess, the confronting or resisting temptation, seeking of atonement, the apotheosis, and then finally the ultimate boon, or the receiving of the treasure. So this road of trials, or the test stage, is the series of trials and tribulations the hero goes through in order to develop the necessary skills and traits of becoming a hero. With each trial, the hero will hone certain skills, will cure certain ills in their attitude or in their heart. They'll develop all of the necessary traits in order to finally be fully transformed into this hero at the end of this initiation stage. A great example of this is the journey that's depicted in Ice Age. Manny and Sid receive the human child at the very beginning of the story. Manny chooses to protect the child. That's his belly of the whale. But then they journey all the way to Glacier Pass, which is most of the movie. And during this journey, there are various trials that he will face, from this snow melting underneath his feet to an ice slide and everything else they encounter. So it's that path, or the journey that they're on. It's Dorothy traveling the entire Yellow Brick Road. It's Huck Finn going down the Mississippi River and all of the trials that he faces along the way. That is the essence of the road of trials. That's the big picture item in the initiation stage. Within that, there are specific stages that will serve specific purposes for the hero's development. The first is the meeting with the goddess. Let's first address gender. Goddess does not always have to be a female, and goddess does not have to be a person either. It's an entity that teaches our hero about unconditional love, usually from a divine source. This is a brother, or a woman, or a man, a parent, that shows our hero what it's like to love others above self. Campbell said that the meeting of the goddess, who is incarnate in every woman, is the final test of the talent of the hero to win the boon of love, which is life itself. So without love, the hero cannot experience life. Without understanding unconditional love, the hero has no reason to proceed in the journey. So this is one of the most important steps in the entire monomyth, because it teaches our hero about the essence of selfless love. Now, this is usually contrasted with the idea of temptation. Selfless love and temptation work in a competing fashion. You can see this in the form of a goddess and the classic version of the temptress, which Joseph Campbell talks extensively about in Hero with a Thousand Faces. But we also see temptation in varying forms. So the hero is faced with this temptation, whether it is the urge to give up on their journey, it's the urge to go back to the life that they knew, the easy life, or simply to follow specific social mores, or if it's a woman who is clearly the evil of woman who is driving them off of their chosen journey. We see this time and time again. A great example is the movie Shark Tales, where Oscar is on his journey and Angie represents his goddess figure who teaches him about selfless love, but it is his desire to be with the temptress Lola and the high life that she offers that draws Oscar off of his chosen path, until eventually he comes to terms with this and gets back onto the heroic path. So you see it in many different forms. Now, the next three steps kind of go together. Our hero has to make amends for the life that he's lived before, or she has lived before the journey began, or the sins that he or she committed in that idea of temptation. So our hero seeks atonement, oftentimes with the Father, but not always. Joseph Campbell labeled it hero, seeking atonement with the Father in Hero with a Thousand Faces, because he was examining, again, a lot of myth and religious stories. But in order to move forward in the journey as a hero, the hero, or would-be hero at this point still, needs to come to terms with his past actions and seek forgiveness. I think Edmund from Lion and the Witch and the Wardrobe in the Chronicles of Narnia is one of the most vivid examples of atonement. He fell victim to temptation. He went with the White Witch. He couldn't resist the Turkish delight. But when he finally realized the horror that the White Witch offered him, he goes to Aslan and he seeks atonement, and then more importantly, he goes to his brothers and sisters and seeks forgiveness from them. And it is at that point that he can then join the battle against the White Witch, and he becomes one of the four heroes in the story. Immediately following this idea of seeking forgiveness is a glorification, or the actual transformation of the hero. Campbell called it the apotheosis, which literally means a joining of divinity, or the glorification of the hero. The hero must encounter this final transformation or change in order to reach his ultimate or her ultimate goal. So when Billy Madison falls back into his old life in the movie Billy Madison, and then his goddess Veronica comes and beats the crap out of him, and he has this new awakening, which is symbolic of him being anointed in the fountain or baptized into the new heroic Billy Madison, who's going to take on the challenge of the academic decathlon against Eric. We have this sense of a new beginning, or a complete transformation of our hero. The old is gone. The new that we saw glimpses of in The Belly of the Whale is now all that is left. The other part of the hero, the old part, has been completely put aside through this series of the goddess fighting the temptation and then seeking forgiveness, and now he or she is ready to be a full-on hero. Once the hero is established, he or she is able to attain the ultimate boon, or the prize with which they sought in the first place. We see this oftentimes as a culmination of the call to adventure, but not always. Sometimes the hero doesn't know what he or she is seeking along the journey, and it's not until the ultimate boon that they discover that. Example, Dorothy from Wizard of Oz is seeking a journey home, and arguably at her ultimate boon, she doesn't get to go home. She finds the wizard, who was really the call of her journey, but she also finds the ability within herself to be a strong, powerful, protective woman to all of her friends that she gathered along the journey. Same with Marlin. When Marlin finally finds Nemo, Nemo is faking his own death, so Marlin does not experience this great boon or treasure. He actually has great pain at the ultimate boon, and it isn't until the return stage that he's able to truly grasp all of the aspects of the hero. So it is the realization of the call to adventure in most cases, but not always. It is, though, the achieving of a prize which needed to be sought.